G'day everyone, welcome to another video from Sweeney's Creek Farm. Well, it's harvest day today. 4 months ago we planted our potatoes in these two raised garden beds and some little garden beds on the ground. And as you can see, they've all died off now and it's time to get them out of the ground and have a look. We've already harvested the ones at the front here. As you can see, it didn't work too bad, but the ground is very, very dry. We're in the grips of summer at the moment and water is such a big issue. I'm spending a lot of time and effort carting water in to keep these things going. They did okay. The store-bought ones did grow. We got some baby potatoes out of them, but the depth of the garden bed and the how hard the ground is underneath, they really were pushing it uphill. It was really hard work for them, and they didn't flourish at all. They really just got there. So lesson learned, we need to get those garden beds that they're growing in a bit deeper and also keep the water up to them, and which is something we're working on at the moment to get a solution for our water. We did install a dripper system in this lot, which helped, and having the depth of the garden bed also meant that the water situation here wasn't quite as dire. And so we're going to now use the old harvesting fork, turn them over, and we'll see how many potatoes we get in here. So it'll be interesting to see actually how deep these guys went and how many potatoes we get out of each plant. Oh, there's one already. Got a few little ones coming up. That one's not too bad, got a few there. As you can see, it's very warm out here. Sweat's starting to run. We've got a bit of a harvest of potatoes out of there. Has it been a success? Yes and no. There's a few in there that are okay. They've very much indicated lack of water has been an issue. As you saw when we were turning it over, the ground's really dry. Some of them are okay. Some of them are quite firm. Others are quite spongy and obviously suffered with the water getting drawn out of them, I believe. There are some good ones there that we can use going forward for seed potatoes, having learnt what we need for these. And it might be a matter of and the solution, I think, is to make sure we've got a good water supply and just keeping that water up to them, which is always a bit of a challenge here. Got the next bed to go, so we'll turn that one over and see if it's any different. So the second garden bed was much more productive. Different type of potato. These are Kiplers, quite long and elongated. They're traditionally a really crunchy sort of potato, really good fried up and baked. And yeah, we got a much better harvest out of there. These guys seem to have enjoyed these conditions a bit better, and this garden bed seemed to be a bit wetter for some reason. So lesson learned. It's all about water around here. So as I said, we've got some big plans coming afoot at the moment, ready to hopefully solve that problem we've got. But yeah, very happy with that. Can't wait to get some cooked up. On to the next harvest, so we'll head over the other side of the garden beds and start to pick some more fruit. On to a real success story here. These are our giant bullhorn. They're a capsicum, what other people call bell peppers. We're really pleased with how they've done. They've really taken off and produced a lot here. And as I start to harvest them, you'll see we've never grown these before. We've used them in a few in cooking in the last couple of weeks, and they're really, really good. Compared to the California Wonder capsicums down the other end, which we'll see in a moment, these guys have been really prolific. I mean, that's just a beautiful capsicum. And in true capsicum form, the longer they stay on, eventually they'll start to turn red. The taste of them is really good. We've used them in a few recipes in the last couple of weeks. They seem to have a slightly stronger taste than the usual capsicum, and yeah, really nice. All that fruit so far has just been off one plant. So they're really quite prolific. So there's the harvest just out of one plant. So as we continue to go through, we've got probably a dozen in here. Going to end up with a lot. That's definitely a success story. we're definitely growing these going forward. There we go, really happy with the harvest out of this garden bed. So there's 12 bullhorn capsicum plants in here, and as you can see, box full of fruit there. We've been picking off these plants for the last few weeks as well, so there's probably been at least that much been taken out already. We've also left quite a few smaller ones on there just to continue growing and ripen up, so there's probably another good box load on there. As you can see, they're a really long, elongated, almost like a chili shape, and they're quite mild but have a nice flavour. And Julianne's never been able to get a capsicum ever to get to red, and so we've been able to see that one stay on the vine long enough and go to a nice red colour. So a bit of a mixture there, but very successful. We'll head over to the chilli plants now. So these are a Thai chilli plant. Majority of the fruit is still green and not ripe for picking, but I can see some red ones in here, so we'll start to pick out what we can. And as I reach in and grab these and bring them out, you see they're a nice long elongated bright red chilli. Plenty of heat in these guys. These are a really good chilli, particularly for Asian cooking. Just to show you what we've got in the garden bed here, we've actually got two different types of chilies. So down this end we've got the Thai chilli, sometimes called a bird's eye chilli. So they're a much smaller, different flavour, quite hot. These ones here grow longer. This is a cayenne chilli, oftentimes dried up and ground into powder. So just the two different species here, and we've got a few more in the next one. The next garden bed is struggling a little bit, but these guys have really taken off. There is a lot of fruit in here. Just needs a little bit more time. As you can see, a lot of them are still in that green stage, which you can use them. Certainly, one of my favourite dishes is a Thai green curry, so you can use these green chilies and ground up to make a curry paste, but their flavour intensifies as they get into that red colour. Next garden bed has got habaneros and jalapenos. Habaneros are one of the ones that head up into that really hot end of the spectrum, ones that I really like. And unfortunately, we've had a really funny season. This is our first time of growing these guys. We've ended up with a grand total of one habanero just on that plant there, and it's still green, so I'm going to leave that go. But every other plant has failed to fruit for some reason. We'll just have to try it again next year and see how we go. The jalapenos, however, have ended up with some good fruit in here. Oh, there we go. That one's obviously ready to come off. So we are seeing some nice jalapenos there. That might be a plant that we put a few more in next year. But definitely got a few there. These guys pickle up really well. A few different ones going on in here. We've got some California Wonder capsicums or bell peppers, and we've got a few that are coming along really nicely. Oh, that one's just touched on the ground, but most of it's still usable. So they're really nice. These bushes here got quite a few, not as prolific as the bullhorn, but still a good crop. Behind me here I have some Siam hot chilies. A little bit of fruit on those. They're also a very long, thin, almost like the cayennes. And this one here is a late bloomer. We've got one piece of fruit in here, but there are a number of blossom and other fruit forming, so we are going to get more. This is the Trinidad Scorpion, which is one of the hottest, certainly the hottest that we're growing at the moment. And I do have one piece of fruit under there, which I'm just going to leave. It's green at the moment. I need it to ripen up to a nice red colour. Over here we have the sweet banana peppers, which I've never grown and I've never tasted before. So in the interest of providing you with some information, I'm going to pick one off and give it a go. Yeah, that's really nice. Really nice. Very mild, real nice capsicum flavour to them. Yeah, that would be really great in a salad. And the last bed we're going to look at is the corn we've got growing up the top here. We've got a few corn cobs on there, so we have had some success. It has struggled. We've had some nasty weather that's hit them. We had a couple of storm fronts that come in. They did have an impact from a tarpaulin over there, which knocked a few of them over down the end. And again, water supply has always been a bit of an issue. But we do have some nice heads forming in there. I don't know how many kernels are on each one. Again, this is our first go at growing some corn, so it'll be interesting to see what they're like. Got a few here that are ready to harvest. We can tell that because the silks on top have all died off, just like this one here. So the harvesting technique is to grab, pull down, and then remove from there. And let's see what we've got in here. Doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty good. I think we might be having some corn for tea tonight. That's actually really good. Very happy with that. Corn's a really interesting plant. Each one of these little filaments leads back down into the cob to a single kernel. So as they get fertilised up there, then that creates the corn kernel, which is in fact a seed. So when you see these large amounts of silks, or almost like a tassel, then yeah, that will lead back to some good corn cobs. So very, very pleased. For our first go at growing corn, and with the season we've had and the conditions and the lack of water, very, very happy with that. That's really good. So we'll work our way through now and harvest the rest of them and see how many we can get out. We've harvested all the corn. Not a fantastic result, but we've got a few cobs in there that we'll be able to use. Even these smaller ones, which aren't really usable as a food as such, we'll be able to dry those out and then harvest those corn kernels and reuse them for next season to grow some plants. Because we haven't grown any other corn anywhere around here, we know that they're not cross-pollinated, so we know they're going to remain pure. So we can harvest those corn kernels and hopefully do a better job of getting them up and going next year. Live and learn, as they say. We've ended up with a good harvest this morning. As you can see in the wheelbarrow here, we've also been able to get some zucchinis. We've been picking those for quite a long time. They're still producing. Picked up a couple of nice cucumbers as well. Sugar baby watermelon, which looking forward to cutting open and seeing what that's like. Our chilies and our bullhorns and then our potatoes underneath. So we're also harvesting tomatoes at the moment, constantly at the moment, because they're all ripening up through the high tunnel, which has been great. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for being here and supporting the channel. If you're new to the channel and this is your first video, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free and it supports us as we go forward developing our channel. And thanks very much for everyone who's given us the support over the last year and a half to 2 years. We really appreciate every single one of you. And thanks for being here guys. See you on the next one.